Senator Durbin is Illinois' senior senator. He is a Senate leader, and he is a champion in Washington for farmland protection, for the environment, and for the quality of life of the citizens, not only in our state, but nationally. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Jill. I'm from the federal government, and I'm only here to help. I want to acknowledge Jerry Edelman, and of course, Chicago Commissioner Suzanne Malik McKenna, head of the Environment Department for the greenest big city in America. I want to add my congratulations to Bill Curtis and Donna LaPietra, who, among their many accomplishments noted in the program, have a ranch farm in Kansas with happy grass-fed cows. That's a good thing. There are many elected officials here, and I'm sorry I didn't get to see them all and acknowledge them all, but I do want to acknowledge one who is right up your alley, and my great friend, Deborah Shore. I know she is here with the Metropolitan Water and Reclamation District. Deborah, thank you. I'm here today to do very brief remarks, celebrate what you're doing with Openlands. Thank you for your generous support that makes your good work possible. And I want to thank Rick Bayless and hope that he will leave at least one recipe behind before he leaves this afternoon. I got my start in politics as a college student and as an intern in the office of Senator Paul Douglas of Illinois, a man who served from 1948 until 1966. When I was an intern in his office, he inspired me to get started in politics. Little did I realize that 30 years after that internship, I would hold his Senate seat. It wasn't a plan, believe me. It happened that way, and I'm proud of it. Paul Douglas did many great things in his life, but one of the things that he said has been oft-quoted and should be quoted today. He wrote, "When I was a young man, I wanted to save the world. In my middle years, I would have been happy just to save my country. Now I just want to save the Indiana Dunes." Saving the dunes was Paul Douglas's last great campaign. What he learned over his long and brilliant career in academia and public life is that you can accumulate a lot of awards and a lot of honors, but if you succeed in saving a parcel of pristine open space for future generations, you have indeed left a great legacy. Openlands has already secured an immensely rich legacy for our region and for our state. You're working every day to protect even the smallest vacant lots in the city, to help farmers keep their farms rather than converting to development. You're giving teachers the tools they need to build school gardens and to teach young children the value of those gardens, helping neighborhoods plant and care for trees. Because of your work, as has been noted, to protect the Openlands Lakeshore Preserve, future generations will be able to come and walk along 1 mile of lakeshore in its wildest state of nature. Because of you, those 77 acres have been restored. And I notice Centerpoint is one of the sponsors here. They have been part of an effort that you've joined in to pass legislation protecting 19,000 acres of Medawan tall grass prairie. I hope, if you haven't, that you'll go down there and take a look. It is a great feeling to be out there and appreciate what that land once looked like and will look like again. This prairie is habitat for many species, protects important watersheds, and serves as a great resource for teaching. Last year, change was on the ballot, and change won. And because of that, we now have a president who tells me on some days he wishes he could be back here with us. But we're sure glad he is where he is today. President Obama knows what a treasure the Great Lakes are, and that's why he's moved Great Lakes protection front and center in his administration. His first federal budget, $475 million at the EPA for Great Lakes restoration initiatives to clean up and restore the Great Lakes. Congress is on track to fully fund this effort. In addition, over the summer, the President appointed someone whom we all know and respect, Cam Davis, as the President's Special Assistant for the Great Lakes, working with the EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson. That's good news. I learned a lesson in politics a few years ago, and some of you may recall the incident. British Petroleum announced that they were going to expand their whiting plant on the shores of Lake Michigan, and in the course of that expansion, they would be releasing certain toxic chemicals into Lake Michigan. A lot of people were concerned about it. A fellow congressman by the name of Rahm Emanuel, whatever happened to him, joined with me in opening up a website. We just asked people in general, if you'd like to sign a petition to urge BP to reconsider that decision, please do so. In no time at all, 75,000 people signed on to that petition. It was an indication of the depth of sentiment which people have, often unspoken in this area, about Lake Michigan and about open lands and about conservation. BP did the right and responsible corporate thing. They reconsidered their decision and said, we won't be expanding that facility if it in fact leads to this type of a discharge. I took them at their word, and I still do. But there's much more work that needs to be done. But we know as it's being done, there's a strong public sentiment that joins us. With the President's support, we added $4 billion to the Clean Water State Revolving Loan Fund as part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Part of that was needed because after the BP incident, I went to the region, local region EPA, and said, can you give me a list of the largest polluters of Lake Michigan? And they said, we don't have it. The EPA doesn't have it. And the fact is, they don't. I've spoken to Lisa Jackson, and we're working on it at this point. We're also working on cleaning up the beaches to make sure that people know as quickly as possible, not a day or two later, that there's contamination on a beach which could endanger those who use it. These are basic things, but they're things that have to be done to make sure that we keep our commitment to keep Lake Michigan clean and to make sure it's part of a legacy for a future generation. I know that Rick Bayless has had a major role in the Green City market. I thank him for that and all those who've helped him. He has an ally in the White House now in the First Lady who's planting a garden. It won't rival the Green City market, I'm sure, but at least it brings a sensitivity and awareness to this issue of locally grown food, which is so important to our future and to preserving our important farming assets. Let me say thank you again to Openlands, to all of you for the work that you will leave for our children and grandchildren, open lands and clean waters for many of them to treasure for generations to come. Thank you very much.